Hey, what's up guys, this is Shihab, and today I'm going to talk about the Canon EFS 55 to 250 IS2 lens. So this is a zoom lens, and the reason I love this lens is its price. It's really cheap in price, but comes handy in various type of shootings. First of all, this is a EFS lens for APS-C size sensor camera bodies like the 700D, 750D, 800D, 70D, 7D. So it will work with the smaller sensor or the APS-C size sensor cameras. It will not work in a full frame body like 5D Mark III or 6D or 1DX. Before diving deep into the review, I want to talk a few things. There is a new version of the same lens, which is Canon EFS 55-250 STM version. To get the advantages the STM lenses provides you, you also need a camera body that can do dual pixel autofocusing like the Canon 70D, 80D. Those bodies with those dual pixel autofocus system, those cameras will get the full advantages and benefits of the STM version. So if you're not a user of Canon 70D or the 80D, you can grab this non-STM version, which is also a very good lens. So since I have a Canon 700D here, this is not a dual pixel autofocusing, so that's why I didn't buy the STM version. So first of all, let's talk about the build quality. So overall build feels really nice and robust. The zoom ring is really nice and fun to pull, but it has a plastic mount because the price is cheap, so this is not a metal mount, but it's really good quality. You're not gonna break it with your usual photography. It's a variable aperture lens, meaning as you zoom in, the aperture goes down. Like right now, like when you're at 55mm, the maximum aperture it gets is f4, and when you're all the way zoomed in at 250mm, the maximum aperture you have is f5.6. so f4 and f5.6 is not a huge aperture, so this lens is not going to let you a lot of light into the sensor. So for nighttime shooting, you have to boost your ISO, which will give you noise in the picture. So I think this lens is not very good for low light or nighttime shooting. So why I love and recommend this lens to you, because it's really cheap. It's only $200 or $199 brand new, but if you want to grab a used one, this can get you around $100, so that's really cheap. And plus this lens has a really wide zooming range, like 55 to 250, which is in a full frame body equivalent or 35mm sensor equivalent is around 80mm to 400mm, so that's a really wide range of focal length you have. Front filter thread is 58mm. This lens is image stabilized, so it has image stabilizer and of course your manual plus autofocus switch. So I have been using this lens and testing this lens for quite a while. I didn't make a review of this, so let's put this thing on my Canon 700D. So for APS-C lenses, you have to match the white dot of your lens to the white dot of your body, like so, and rotate it clockwise, and you will hear a click, and this will make sure that you are in business. So let's turn the camera on. So as you can see, so right now let's test the autofocus of this lens. Okay, so it's grabbing focus right now. Okay, so it's not really slow. From its start point, it locks on focus within half second, so that's really good. Okay, so not more than half second, so that's really good. And let's take a picture right now. So I took a picture of my camera. After attaching this lens with the camera, this is how it looks. and I think when you are zoomed in it gets a little bit taller. When you are pulling focus, the barrel is also moves and gets a little bit taller as well. So that's a kind of tall lens, as you can tell. So about the sharpness of this lens is adequately sharp throughout its focal length, like 55 to 250, and the result this lens is going to give you is very pleasing. I have taken some good shots with this. So a couple of the questions I get from the enthusiast photographers: will this lens going to be a perfect lens for portrait? This lens is not going to be a perfect lens for portraits, but I think this can give you some really good portrait, because if your talent is little bit far from you, they can get really flexible to give their best poses. This lens allows to get a really good distance from your talent and give the talent the flexibility he or she needs to be flexible with his or her poses. Though it doesn't have a really wide aperture like f1.8 or f2.8 or f2, but if you are zoomed in all the way to 250mm, this lens can give you some really blurred out background. As this is a long focal length at 250mm, the background of your subject will be really compressed, so this will gives you a really good visual aesthetics of the whole picture or the scenario, because really compressed backgrounds always looks better in the portrait scenario. So as this is a telephoto or zoom lens, let's talk about something wildlife or the sports. So this lens is not going to be the perfect lens for the wildlife or the sports. If you are a professional, definitely you are not using this lens, and if you are an enthusiast and if you really want to take some good action shots, action photography or wildlife photography, this lens can really deliver you what you are up to. So I'm not a sports photographer. My main thing nowadays is making YouTube videos, plus I do sometime little bit photography, nature photography, and for doing some a little bit wildlife photography like capturing some birds, the sky or trees, this lens can get you really close to the bird, and that's really convenient. So do I recommend this lens to you? Definitely yes. Is this lens worth buying? Definitely. It's really cheap and gives you really good focal length and versatility to capture some good things. Is there any complaint about this lens? No, but I wish they made this mount a metal mount. This is a plastic mount, and this is not going to be very robust as a metal mount. This is how a metal mount looks like, and that was a plastic mount. But as I have told you, this is really sturdy feeling plastic mount. It's not going to break your mount if you hold your camera like this. So this mount can easily handle the weight of a APS-C body. So thanks a lot for watching. This was my review of the Canon EFS 55 to 250 f4 to f5.6 IS2 lens. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below, and please don't forget to subscribe, because more cool tech videos is coming very soon. Anyway guys, it's the time to awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next one.